my research for my discussions, but I'll get into that when it's appropriate for those things. Because man, did it piss me off to know that our lover, our savior of the Sega Saturn, killed every Japanese exclusive coming across the pond. I'm like, you.
Yeah.
When they were successful in the company that you left.
Yep.
They were successful in the company you left. So why would you think coming over here and saying the Saturn's not our future at E3 1999, 97, and then you block all of the fighting games, all of the RPGs, all of the massive Japanese games that were really good over there that eventually ended up getting localized to PlayStation over here.
But here's the funny thing: like, he did all that, but the fighting games are all in arcades over here.
Mm-hmm.
We got all the fighting games in arcades. I'm like, wait a minute, but it was on Saturn.
The better versions were on Saturn.
Yeah, but because I remember, what was it? X-Men versus Street Fighter. It was Soul Edge. It was the first DOA, first Dead or Alive. They never they came out in arcade though. Like they got them in arcade.
Well, Soul Edge didn't come out on Saturn. That was strictly PlayStation. But
yeah, strictly PlayStation.
Point still stands.
It was the first Dead or Alive. My bad. First Dead or Alive. First Dead or Alive.
Yeah, the first Dead or Alive was on Saturn, and the development team actually liked it better on Saturn than they did in the arcade. So I'm like,
so
you had so much potential stuff that could have come out over here,
like
that just never did because of one person.
Like, wait a minute. So
you
don't want to put it on the console, but you put it in the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was in the arcade first, and they just wouldn't let. He wouldn't.
What did you bring it over here?
Get translated. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it because so you do the arcade amusement show or whatever, and you do that, and you get feedback from all the people that want to buy units from you, right? If all these American companies were buying units from you, obviously they're doing it because they're not holding the L. There was demand, so they wanted to get quarters from that, right? So why would you not want to localize a game that was obviously doing well in arcades over here? That's just bizarre.
How dare you use logic?
Yeah. It's like
but then everybody got the inferior versions on PlayStation, and then they were thinking, oh, well, Saturn's not getting this game because it can't do 3D. No, the Saturn could have done 3D, but Sega, being stupid as they were back then, didn't give people proper documentation. And then you have the 32X eating chips that would be in the Sega Saturn. So I'm like, y'all just screwed up all around. Like you got scared about the Atari Jaguar, which didn't even threaten the 3DO.
Yeah. No.
The 3DO of all things.
Yeah.
I've said multiple times that the original PlayStation was a Dreamcast that took off because it was dumb as hell and super easy to program for. And the licensing fees were low. So that's effectively what the Dreamcast was, but you had holdouts like EA, like, I'm not going to put Madden on there. Something like that definitely would have changed the entire history of that platform.
Well, it also helped that Sony went to anybody who could code a game and gave them literally all of the documentation to use the console. And Sega had a chip in their goddamn console that was basically equivalent to the reality code processor in the 64.
Yeah, you had to figure it out or no assembly to be able to.
The problem was they had a specific assembly language that they wrote for this machine,
which is even worse.
But gave no one documentation.
And the console doesn't recognize it. It's wild.
Which makes you wonder, like, with all the teams that figured out how to use it in Japan, like, you would think you'd want that to come over here.
Once again, you're using logic. Well, how dare you? So
yeah. I wonder if that was one of those weird things where Japan was trying to show that they were better as far as like technology versus the US, and they didn't want to share. They didn't want to knowledge share. But I'm like, that hurts you like on the back end severely. So I don't know what that was about. Nintendo was cagey like that too, going all the way up to Wii U. So other than if you weren't a second party partner, basically you had to figure it out too. That I don't think that switched. Oh god, my choice of words. I don't think that switched until Switch. Yeah. So when Nintendo's just like, here, you want to figure it out? Hey, here you go. You know C++? Here you go. And the rest is history. So
So, Shadow, what have you been playing?
Me, well, I play Mario Kart World. Apparently, it's $80 everywhere. Nobody ever got a copy for less than $80.
And you're not going to.
I'm the only person that I know of that was willing to pay for a cartridge because I want to be able to put it in.
I got
where I am. Give me my money.
Okay.
Hold on now. Hold on. See, this is a lie. This is a lie right here because I have a physical copy of it and I got it for less than.
Are we disproving the lie in real time? It's not just me.
I got mine. Man, where did I put that box?
I'm just saying because I'm the only Nintendo fan in the world apparently, and I'm the only person that.
I got mine physical, and it came with these racing wheels. These are $27 by themselves, and I got mine with the racing wheels. Damn, I don't know where I put the box. Look at me hiding my stuff from myself. But I got mine for $80 including this, and this is $27.
Oh,
by itself.
Yeah,
so
that's just interesting.
You take that off. I got mine for what? $43 somewhere in that range.
Somewhere.
So I got it less than.
See, so I paid the full $80. So I'm the Nintendo and I'm the problem.
Here we go.
Because it means every game will be $80 after Mario Kart World, even though Donkey Kong was not.
See, physical copy right here. Here we go.
Look at that. It had to have been $80, right? Because it's only $80.
Nope. This is how you know people don't like to shop around for deals. Because I found it very easily. Didn't take me but 5 minutes to find that deal when I decided I was going to get it.
I mean, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess other than that, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza a little bit. I'm still trying to finish that game. We talked about this last week, but Resident Evil 9, I highly everybody needs to play that game. Play that game.
I gotta pick it up.
And I was reminded also this week, because it is also a really, really, really good game. I think people need to go back and play it. It's also Capcom related. Go play product number 3, Piano 3. I'm still addicted.
I want them to throw that on NSO. I really wish they would.
I wish they would too. More people need to play that, and they need to understand this is where you got Mercenaries mode in Resident Evil 4 from. That's literally that same combo system. It came from there. So it's highly addicting, and I highly recommend that.
Okay, I'm glad y'all brought that up because that's a good segue. Okay, so if y'all been following us for a long time, back right when we left Gamers at Large, me and Andre came up with the idea when we brought back the podcast to actually do something called a therapy session where we try to fix stuff gaming related. So we hadn't done one of these in 4 or 5 years, Andre?
Yeah, it's basically been since we started. We haven't done.
Yeah. We did it the first couple years, and then we kind of stopped.
So it's been time.
Yeah, it's time. So today's episode is today's episode is a therapy session episode, and the first thing is are you satisfied with the online from the big 3 console providers, and what would you do? What would you do to improve it? So we're gonna start with, because I don't have my PlayStation anymore, so I'm not on PlayStation Plus. I went on to cancel that a couple years ago anyway, and I'll tell you why. Number one, it was kind of this. I felt like I was paying the same thing that I was getting over on Xbox. So I was like, "What's the point?" And then on top of that, the only thing I was playing on my PlayStation anyway was a bunch of RPGs. I wasn't even online, so I didn't see the point, honestly. So PlayStation, I don't have that anymore, so I can't give an answer on that one. But Game Pass, I think I told y'all this when Game Pass first came out. I had it for the first 2 years, and I used it as a rental service. Now, some people, whatever you think about Game Pass, whether you think it's a detriment to gaming or that's beside the point, it's here. So the thing is, I used it as a rental. I used it kind of like a rental service because they had all the games, and if I wanted to buy them, I'd just buy them at a discounted price. Yep. So I just use it to try games out. There was games that I would try out on Game Pass and go back to Nintendo and Sony and buy them.
It's just GameFly without the mailing the disc. That's all it is.
Yeah. So that's how I did some of that. Now the problem that I had when I let it go was because one, I took on more responsibility at work, which means less time at home, which means less time to game. And I just didn't have the time, to be honest. I just didn't. So it became one of those situations when I'm doing my SWOT analysis, like, okay, like I got bills to pay, I got stuff that I got to be responsible. Yeah, this can go because this costs too much. So this can go. This can go because I'm not using it. So I kept gold though. So that's where I'm at with Microsoft.
I see you using those terms. I hear you.
Yeah, but that's where I'm at with it. So with Xbox, for me personally, I don't know. I don't even know how you start off fixing that, because I think the problem is, one, the pricing, and two, they don't do a good job explaining it, in my opinion. So they just want you to buy it.
Pretty much.
I'm like, okay, but why? Oh, you just get it. But why? What did I say?
Like, why am I paying $240 a year for this?
I don't think you understand that you don't need to ask no questions.
Man. As an original Xbox Live member from 2001, from my $50 a year to my $60 a year to my $70 a year to, I don't know. I did not know that my account had lapsed last year at some point. I just had to turn it back on when I realized, I guess, like November sometime frame.
Yeah.
So whatever the basic whatever thing is what I have now. Do I see a use for it? Other than a requirement for online multiplayer? Not really anymore. Because all the consoles have to let you connect to at least buy games and whatnot. So there's kind of really no other. I don't see any benefit to it. We all use tools like this or whatever to chat online. So, like game chat is good on Switch and stuff like that. But for the most part, we'll just use Discord. So it's not even really. There's not really a need for any of that anymore. It's kind of. It was hot at the time in 2002 and, maybe up to a 360 generation. But now the call quality is just so bad on those. There's almost no point. There's no point in even trying to do that when your phone is sitting next to you while you play a game anyway. You can just start a session right there while you're playing. So I don't really see a need for it other than online multiplayer, to be honest with you. And it's kind of crazy that that's the one thing that PC gamers have right, is that while there is a charge for multiplayer servers and stuff like that, that varies from game to game anyway. So I feel like that should be bundled into the price of the individual game that you're playing online. So that way you don't have to pay a subscription fee for connecting to something if you don't know if that game server is going to be up anymore. And now the game that you bought an online subscription for is dead or whatever, because these games are dying like right after they come out lately. So what's the point of that?
Battle Royale types and those are, and half of them, like you said, they dead as soon a week after they done launched. And like, how can you be dead right when you launch?
Yeah. So I definitely feel that way about Xbox Live now. PlayStation Network is it's a necessity for the same reason. The online, the cloud saves and stuff like that are okay. I think that's more of a benefit to Switch than it is for most people. We're the outliers where we have multiple consoles in our house that go from room to room and stuff like that. Switch, I think, is the only, because you're going to come across people that have more than one, or you have just a Switch 1 and a Switch 2 to where that's going to be a necessity. But if you have an Xbox Series X, I would imagine that most people that have a Series X don't have a Series S, or if they have another Xbox, it's probably the Xbox One. And you're probably not going back to that, even if it's plugged up in another room. So I don't really see the need really for cloud saves in that scenario either, unless you're just trying to. It just seems like a lot to be paying for that one thing. That's just something I feel should inherently be free as well. Same thing. Well, that's the other thing I was saying for the Sony platforms too. I don't want to have to pay $60 for that. Just be able to do those type of things. And I understand why Nintendo's doing it, but also they have the cheaper price too. So if I pay $80 and I can have 8 people be on that same platform, that's well worth it versus, $70 a head for one person. So I don't know. I feel like they need to figure out a way, reevaluate it, and figure out a way for it to be game to game, because I feel like we'll get closer to things like cross-platform play being a thing across more games now, since they don't have to negotiate with the 3 platforms to make their deals work. Because between Sony and Nintendo, they are really aggressive with regards to not wanting cross-platform play across platforms.
Well, I thought
Microsoft doesn't care.
I thought Nintendo was more open to it. Sony was the one that was tripping because, like,
at first it was Nintendo when the Sega Snap thing came. They rejected the Sega Snap.
Yeah.
Then when this thing started coming around, it was Sony, because they barely want cross-platform with Xbox. They see them as a direct competitor, and that's the thing. Even though they're dominating right now, they definitely don't want Nintendo involved. So, I just feel like if you had the service tied to the game that you purchased, it would be a lot easier to sign into your Yugi account, and regardless of what platform you're playing on, y'all can all play, Assassin's Creed multiplayer or whatever together, Tom Clancy's whatever together, regardless of what platform you're on. That's kind of what I hope would happen, but I don't. And you would figure this would be a thing that they would be pitching, because third parties want to run the industry anyway. They're trying really hard to make that the case. So you figure they would pitch for something like this to where they can kind of force platforms to agree to it, but nobody wants to do anything like that. It seems like an interesting thing to have as industry standard.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. I mean,
that's my only gripe, really. Other than that, is you pay for internet anyway. You're going to subscribe. You got to pay for whoever your telco is to bring stuff to your house. So,
well, my thing too is, like, people don't understand how them server maintenance costs run. I'm like, bro, y'all do realize, because I didn't even know until I had to do it for 5 years, when I had to, like, catalog and go over that stuff. Like, bro, them server costs are crazy. You would not, if you ran a business, you would not eat that cost. You wouldn't. That would be stupid.
CDN alone is millions of dollars a day.
Yeah.
For just one region.
Yeah, we're not even talking about like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have multiple regions.
Yep.
That's why I'm thinking. I'm thinking Sony and Nintendo probably gonna jump on Azure.
Probably.
Yeah,
too long.
They might be cheaper than Akamai at this point. So yeah, between them and Amazon, I don't know who else is in the race anymore with regards to that. So
because they're worried about Azure, because once Microsoft gets Azure where they want it, they're gonna jump ship.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Microsoft's more stable than Amazon as far as CDNs are concerned. They're more stable.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Especially if everything can be easily combined and it's not so much hassle to link everything.
Yeah, they'll jump on that in a heartbeat, because it'll be, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft will be like, hey, yeah, what could y'all do? Because we like money. Our name is not Capcom. We're not allergic. We're not Capcom. We're not allergic to money.
I'll say Capcom has been getting better at wanting money as of late. They just haven't done it with enough franchises.
They bust out in hives when.
Hey, look, they at least put Dino Crisis on Steam, which was a surprise.
Yeah,
Dino Crisis.
God knows it ain't going nowhere else.
Yeah, they definitely left off the problem child that nobody wanted, so that's also a plus. Yeah. But they really need to. You've done all these Resident Evil remakes, but you won't do Dino Crisis in the same style, and Dino Crisis makes more sense in this style than Resident Evil does.
Definitely does. They did a game that literally trolled you, and people thought it was Dino Crisis.
So,
like, what
that's when I looked at it. I was like, "You insulting my intelligence." And then you got the nerve to put Mega Man in there as a guest. Yeah,
Yeah, they basically like they shot the bird at every game with that one, dude.
I'm just sitting here like Dino Crisis. Since the Resident Evil 2 remake, I feel like Dino Crisis would be perfect in this style. Because Dino Crisis and Resident Evil worked off the same. Dino Crisis, Resident Evil, and Onimusha all worked off the same style.
Yep.
All three of those games would have benefited from the same transition. I don't know how you do it with one and not the others.
There's one game
because we don't like money.
There's one game I feel won't be compatible with RE Engine though, and that's probably Dead Rising. And because it's going to be more CPU bound than GPU bound.
Well, the remake, I think they did do an RE engine because they made it more like the Wii version of Dead Rising.
Oh, chop till you drop.
Yeah, from that perspective, I do think the original game is still better in my opinion because it's not so uncanny valley.
Yeah,
but it can work. It's just how they use it. I wish they would have stuck with a more goofy art
stylized look.
It would have been better because of the insanity of the game, but the engine itself would work for it. It just depends on how they use it, and that's their big problem.
I was just worried about the horde being an issue with the engine because I don't think that's really been tested. There's not too many mobs in Monster Hunter, like not that size.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
that I've seen. So
I think the most we got is in Rising with the rampages.
Yeah.
That's about the most we got.
But you just give me Dino Crisis and take that first cutscene where you see the dude running from the T-Rex and he eats him. Make that a mini game. Make that a mini game before the start of your game, and however far you get your soldier running, you get bonuses in the start of the game. Like you start out with more equipment the longer he lasts. Because while he's running and screaming, he's relaying information. Mm-hmm. So with him relaying the information, you end up with more stuff, or more stuff is unlocked along the way. That would be perfect.
You had to say Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then I went straight to Beautiful Joe 2 with the Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park that was out of work. See, that's why.
hey, maybe Dino Crisis was his last gig.
That was hilarious to me because the T-Rex in Beautiful Joe 2 was basically the T-Rex from Jurassic Park that was an actor that was out of work. That was hilarious. So every time he showed up in every episode, he was a different person trying to get back into acting. I'm like, are you?
It's rough out here.
But he had a Guillaume with a mustache, with a twirled up mustache. I'm like, he had the one that sticks to your face. I'm like, bro, did they really make fun of the Tyrannosaurus Rex from freaking Jurassic Park? Yes, they did.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, that was worth it though. But hey, we might end up with Beautiful Joe coming back since Clover exists. So
yeah,
there's a chance.
That's one thing, because segue into Nintendo again. I want that on NSO. I want 1 and 2 on the NSO.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean.
Also, Red Hot Rumble. I feel like you might as well at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you could.
I know it's not. Look, I know it's not the game.
It's not Smash Brothers. It won't be, but
it will be.
It did have decent comedy in it.
Yeah.
So I would get it just for that.
That was the reason to play those games, because of the comedy. Because half the time I lose stages because I'm laughing too hard.
Man, but
like some of that stuff in Beautiful Joe was just funny. Some of that stuff in Beautiful Joe 1 and 2 was just hilarious. Because I'm just sitting there like, bro, y'all dead wrong. I don't know how this game got a T for teen. This is not PG.
Not at all.
So, and if you know what I'm talking, if you played the first game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, y'all got away with that. Y'all pulled the fast one. Tommy, you the man. But that was one of the things. Like with NSO, I'm actually satisfied with NSO. I know a lot of people have their thoughts about it. My only complaint really is the drip feed of games, and the reason why I don't understand it is because I'm like, your stuff, I I don't understand why your stuff is being drip feeded. Like if you're gonna drip feed Capcom like Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, I can understand that. Because you probably have to go through a lot of stuff to get that. Eternal Darkness, I can understand that. Even though y'all keep re-upping the doggone license.
Yeah.
I understand that. But Star Fox Adventures on Dinosaur Planet should have been on there. It should have.
Everything that Rare made, though, it seems like it's taking a lot of work to get.
And I don't understand it. I'm like,
I think they're still talking to Microsoft behind the scenes.
Microsoft doesn't have any say so on Star Fox, though.
I think to talk to Rare, they have to go through them.
The Stephen Brothers ain't there no more. So why would we be talking to anybody that had anything to do with Everwild? I don't know.
Rare as a company still owns the code, from what I understand. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can really think of.
They don't know the code to Everwild. Why would you expect them to know the code to Star Fox?
That's true. That's true.
Talk to the Stanford Brothers if you want to get the code.
I think that's more just a lawyer thing. Our people will get with your people to make sure we can do this thing so we don't get sued.
Hold on. Let me say this first. That was a joke. So to me that's about to get mad, I was just playing. Okay, now we can continue. So
wasn't a joke because Everwild is lost. Like we don't know.
That's lost media right now.
That game is vaporware. So I don't.
That game was vaporware when they announced it.
Yeah, because they're like, what is that? We don't know what that is.
We got a whole splash screen.
They did a whole trailer.
Yeah. Whole splash screen and trailer, but we don't know what this game is going to be.
They pulled a Smash Brothers without it being a recognizable brand.
Like what did you announce it for? You have no idea what's going to be. You have no idea where it's.
Why did you put them on the doggone direct? Why did you do that?
That game got announced and just disappeared.
Yeah,
just gone.
So, and there was another game that like the RE4 version of the GameCube version.
Yeah,
that should be on there.
Yeah, I think it should be.
Yeah, because look, they didn't do RE4 so many times. I'm like, bro, you can't get mad if they put their own version on theirs.
I think it's got to be there. I think it's on the list. It's probably going to be one of the last ones, though. I'm fairly certain they're going to keep that one.
There is a potential chance because I still get the feeling that they're going to do the Wii classics, and if they do that, it might end up on there.
Well, the Wii version, if the Wii version with that remote, I'm sorry, that's the best.
That's the superior version of the game.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. The GameCube version is fire, but the control scheme was just better with that Wii remote. People
but the GameCube version is the base version. That's why.
Yeah, but I'm just like that is just something about the Wii remote and Chuck with shooting games and FPSs that was just like, bruh, if you knew what you were doing, you were in heaven.
Yeah, because you could literally run and gun.
Yeah. So
and I look forward to that concept happening so we can finally get wireless Wii remote and nunchuck completely wireless.
Hopefully.
No wire in the middle.
Hopefully, but we'll have to see about that. But like I said, I think the one that I'm most satisfied with is NSO. And my only complaint is, like I said, the drip feed of stuff. As far as the stuff that Nintendo owns, and that's theirs. Like, yeah, you put Wind Waker, OG Wind Waker on NSO, but Twilight Princess ain't there yet. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, look, Melee should be on there. As much as I hate the Melee fan base, Melee should be on there.
I'm starting
Melee should be one of the first ones on there, actually.
Nintendo is starving that library because they want to make remakes and stuff, possibly, and they probably don't know how to approach it. Because
there's no reason to make a Smash Bros. Remake though, because that's already the case with Ultimate.
But if they're making Twilight Princess HD again, then they're probably gonna hold out as far as NSO goes. But then there are games that are on NSO that have like their respective remakes, like Mario 64.
Yeah.
So I don't. There's ways around it. I guess it depends on how iconic it is, and then I guess Nintendo doesn't understand that people are already subbed to NSO anyway, so you might as well just release it. I don't think that it's gonna hurt you re-releasing outright. Because the game's on NSO. If you remaster a game, NSO is just a carbon copy of what the original game was.
Yeah, the original.
Still get the new version of the game if it's a good game.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like, and I can't believe I'm actually going to be saying this. if people, because some people think if it has Switch 2 on the box, that means it's better than everything else. If you go if you're gonna do the remake, just make sure it's Switch 2 only, and boom, you're gonna make your money anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad, but yeah, it does work that way. Don't make a Switch version, make a Switch 2 only
Switch 2 version, and
yeah,
you'll make your money. Dark Void, you are absolutely correct. Metroid Prime 2 does need to be there. Metroid Prime and 1 and 2 need to be there. The OG versions.
So, do you think that's the same problem though? They're trying to figure out how to do the remakes, and you can't do both at the same time.
Not really, because my thing is if they already had all these remasters, because I know the rumor was back in the day that all 3 Metroid Prime games had already been remastered. If that was true, they would have went on and released that trilogy by now.
Yeah,
they would have done it. Because there's no point in releasing 4 if you ain't got 2
it's
and 3
been what, 2.5
go.
years now.
Yeah, nah. So just go, nah. So if that's the case, just go on and release it on NSO. Because like we said, if people gonna buy it, they're gonna buy it anyway. Yeah. They're gonna buy it anyway if they're gonna buy it. It's not one of those situations where, oh man, we don't know if they're gonna buy it or not. They may just keep NSO and not even touch it.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they're selling $80 remakes right now, though. Yeah. So I'm like, if you're making a $80 cartridge, right, with everything, with all the updates from Switch and Switch 2 together, obviously you could sell a $60, $70 remake of a franchise title. Why wouldn't you?
I'll put it like this: if it's true that they've remade Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time like full like Final Fantasy VII remake, because that's what the rumor is, they've remade Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask from the ground up. If that's true, people gonna buy it. Yes, the N64 version's out there, but people gonna buy it. They gonna buy that. So
I know I would.
Yeah. So it's one of them situations where you're like, people will buy it because it's 1, Switch 2, so it gets all the bells and whistles with that. And 2, if it's a true remake, you get more stuff added to it. You'll still have the OG right where it is, but then that's your way of saying, hey, we got the OG version for those who want to play the OG version, and we got this one for the young cats that claim that they can't play anything that's not 60 frames a second.
Wow, to me.
Yeah.
Have you played on a console recently? Like it goes below 60 on every one of them.
On every one of them.
Every one of them, quite a bit.
Yeah. Some people. True Crime. Dang, man.
That's licensing hell, though.
That's licensing hell, though. Yeah. That and Def Jam.
Yeah. Now, well, sure. Just because all the music. Now, they could be on there. They would just end up in a mature version of GameCube, but yes, the licensing, that's the big problem.
That's going to be the biggest. That's going to be the biggest issue for both of those.
I just thought, like, dude, Star Fox Armored Assault.
Yeah.
First orchestral score, I believe.
I was also thinking, like, Nintendo has this really close working relationship with Sega because of what happened during the 6th generation. So why aren't Sonic Adventure 2, and Billy Hatcher all?
Well, the GameCube version, Battle should be on there. Battle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 and Billy Hatcher. You would think all of those would be on there right now. Because Billy Hatcher actually deserves a second game. That was a good game.
Them and Sega are buddies, so.
And Geist. I would love to see Geist. Be
so
on there.
There's a good list of stuff, especially like I said, the GameCube stuff is because people have, because I have seen the revisionist history because people trying to act like GameCube sold 100 million. It didn't. So we're not playing these games like that. Y'all wasn't.
People were in their feelings because they thought that the console was for kids. That was a thing then. That was a whole thing. That's why it has a handle on it. And I'm like, do you not understand electronics? Or what do we...
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
This is where I think Nintendo messed up with the Panasonic Q. Because if they would have advertised that one or worked with Panasonic to advertise that, because that's the one that had the built-in DVD player and like the stereo system in it, that would have been great to push forward.
That was like N64 DD. They let it die. Like I don't.
N64 DD kind of was over expensive for what their development cost was, and that was on them.
it was delay held as well too. So that was
it came out after Dreamcast.
Yeah, it was supposed to make the launch, but it
was supposed to be at launch, and then they were supposed to delay it for a year, and because that's why we got the expansion pack, because the expansion pack was supposed to go with the 64DD. Now, if they didn't deal with doing the magnetic disc for proprietary reasons, and they would have, like, for example, gone with an 8-speed CD drive, they could have done that for a third of the price of what they were spending to make the 64DD. But I have a whole discussion for that, and I'm not going to spoil it.
And so my only so this is their mindset, right? During that time, Nintendo, not only did they want to control the process as far as like manufacturing and stuff like that, and not having to deal with a third party for licensing of media, right? They also were really finicky about load times and seek times as well. So that's the only reason they went with these little the DD cartridges as well, because they were 3 times faster than the access times for a regular CD at the time. Even though it gave you almost 10x the capacity, it could read way faster. And you didn't have as much delays, and it was rewritable as well. So like you can add to it, and so I think that was the reason why they did that, and that's definitely the reason why they went with the smaller disc game.
It was definitely for protection against piracy.
Yep.
It was also going to be expandable against the game carts.
Yep.
The thing is, though, and because I've researched it, found out that they were actually looking at the 8-speed CD drives for their peripheral, but they didn't look at them long enough. When they were looking at them, they were more expensive. 6 months after they originally looked at them, the prices for them dropped, but they were already committed to the magnetic disc. So it was like,
there's no way to predict that though, man. Like they went
from
8x to 16x after that too, and nobody saw that coming. Like it.
No, you went 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 24 within like a year and a half,
and still dirt cheap. I don't know how that happened. It just became a thing somehow.
My thing is, though, if they were paying attention, because at that point, 4X drives did come out like right after PlayStation and Saturn hit. So if they were paying attention to the trend, they probably could have predicted it. But I also understand why they were worried about piracy. So it's like, I get why they did it. It's just hindsight. We know it wasn't the best move.
For sure. Yeah, they definitely bet wrong on N64 for sure with that, because the whole industry would be different.
That's look, like I said, I got that whole script. I've recorded it. I've just got to get my gameplay footage together and put this together. And if it don't blow somebody's mind, I'm gonna be pissed off. Because this is a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I am not lying to y'all. I've done it for the Nintendo 64. I've done it for the Sega Saturn. I'm doing a master 5th generation remix.
Oh, you about to beat frame rated in depth then. I mean, I'm
doing a master 5th generation remix and letting everybody know how it actually would have played out if PlayStation didn't get the perfect storm of events to allow them to win.
Yeah.
Hell, we could have theoretically had a Dreamcast come out in 2001 that would have had more memory in the RAM and VRAM, and also could have came with a DVD drive, and still would have been the same price, and Sega wouldn't have lost money on it.
I think you're describing a GameCube, sir.
No, I'm describing a Dreamcast because they have different parts.
Also, Microsoft wouldn't have been in though, because Microsoft would have.
Microsoft was still. See, this is the funny thing.
Microsoft would. They had said they were doing that had it in 1998.
Yeah, they were still.
But who helped them though? It wasn't Sega. They didn't do it by themselves. It was Sega.
But if Sega was healthy and they didn't help Microsoft because Windows CE attachment to Dreamcast, I get the feeling Microsoft would have made like what we're getting for what the Steam machine is, just lower tech.
Lower tech, yeah. And
it would have been a TV PC.
By the way, Windows CE, that was the only version of CE that actually worked, was the one that was on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
This is true because Windows Embedded after that was trash.
It was trash. It's bad. We have to go back to like Windows 98.
Windows 98.
You know it's bad. We got to do that.
'Cause Windows CE on the Dreamcast was literally just supposed to be for translating PC games over to the Dreamcast, and they really didn't do much with it. So,
yep. I kind of feel you though, Jay, because I'm looking at right now. There's really only 8 games for GameCube right here. So yeah. I definitely I don't know why they're drip feeding like this. The ones they did pick though, I feel like they read my mind though, because these are the games I did want.
I knew F-Zero needed to be there just because all them people kept talking, and I'm like, all right, y'all
nobody
talking.
Playing it.
Let's see what them numbers look like.
Nobody playing.
Wario World's a deep cut though. Like that I feel like they were speaking straight to me on that one,
but and as much as because I've never played Gale of Darkness, I played Pokemon Coliseum. I'm like, why ain't Coliseum on here, man? I want to play the bad guys.
In Coliseum, people that don't even like Pokemon, whenever I saw those demos in stores,
Coliseum
people turned around and look for sure. Yeah. People wanted to see that.
Coliseum was fire. So hopefully that's coming next. Because like I said, I never played Gale of Darkness. I heard it was good though. I heard it wasn't bad, but I'm still not a Pokemon fan like that. I've only played a few of the games, but Coliseum was the one that was like, oh, this is interesting. It's different because this is not a good guy. This ain't no 10-year-old that got kicked out of the house so Mama and Professor Oak can talk. So here, get this bicycle and leave. I'm 10. Man. Get the hell out of my house.
Yep, get out of my house. We don't like you.
Yeah.
Go on
you until you're 9.
And you grown enough, go make your money.
And if you do fight a mafia crime lord, we just gonna pray for you.
Is that just a Japan thing? Because that's Earthbound too.
Earthbound is the same thing.
Just don't care. Get out the house. It's fine.
You're 10 years old now.
Think about it.
Yep. Just call me once in a while.
Yeah, Pokemon, Earthbound, Monster Hunter did it too, didn't it?
Yeah, Monster Hunter did it too.
Get out my house.
Get out my house.
Call me every once in a while.
Did you like they always just like go?
At least with Zelda with the whole thing with Link usually lost his parents, so it ain't like
forced to.
He was forced to. And all these other games, nah, get the hell out of my house. I'm 9 years old, so.
But your birthday
also gonna save the world.
Your 10th birthday tomorrow. Get out.
Yeah.
I'm not even an adult. I don't care.
I do not care. Get your wallet, get your bike, and leave.
So I think N64. I think it's only like 5 games on here on the mature one. Yeah, it's only 5 games on here for the mature.
Because I was thinking Conquer was about to show up, but Conquer has never showed up. So
I think they're still negotiating that one.
It's so weird.
Why?
Which they shouldn't be, but they
because they had no problem dropping Perfect Dark over there.
And I was surprised they dropped KI because I didn't think they were going to do. Like if they were going to do it, I thought they were going to do it during the 20th anniversary, but they didn't. They waited until well after that.
The thing was, the reason why I knew it was coming because at the time Phil was saying some stuff. I'm like, oh, he's trying to at this point he's just trying to get some money any kind of way he can get it.
Yeah,
and I think that's what that was. That's why I'm thinking Perfect Dark is coming. Not Perfect Dark. Conquer Bad Fur Day is coming. Yeah. It's just one of them situations they probably either having to do something about a couple of the songs that was in there because I do know Grant Kirkhope was the guy who did that soundtrack. So I wonder if it's something with royalties or something.
I'm wondering if I don't know what kind of money got exchanged for that, or if it was just a favor between Nintendo and Microsoft. But because now I'm just wondering, like, so what would they have to do to get like Jet Force Gemini, any of that other kind of stuff to come over? Anything that Rare published, because like Conquer and stuff like that, like they definitely got to go through them for that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
which I don't even understand, like, because you're not doing nothing with it. They're not doing nothing with it. So like, what's the point? You're not doing nothing with it. The version of Conquer y'all put out, everybody hates. Like,
yeah, that's at this point, I'm like, Microsoft can just hand all their franchises they're not using over to Nintendo. I'll take Cameo.
I mean, they need to at least the Rare stuff. Because I'm like, my thing was they're not using it. I don't have a problem with you, but if you're not using it, it's the same thing I said a couple weeks ago. I'm like, Phil Spencer is a gamer, so for him to my problem with Phil them was like y'all bought all these companies and you let them talk about their grand vision, but they ain't putting nothing out. Have them work on a couple of these rare titles because y'all should have been we should have been on Jet Force Gemini 3 or 4 by now.
Yeah, we should have.
Like it don't make any sense. So I'm sitting here like, yeah, that's what you should have had them put on. You should have put them on that, and they can go to their grand opus after people learn who the hell they are and see what they work like. Start them off on something small.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess I just misspoke there, but yeah, Jet Force Gemini is on there. But I'm thinking like there's a catalog there. I think they got so. I'm looking right now. If I just filter by rare, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's Blast Core on here.
Blast Core's on there. Which
Jet Force Gemini.
Can't stand that game.
We got KI Gold at least. This just N64 stuff. Banjo Tooie. We got GoldenEye. Perfect Dark is obviously on the other side of this. And what else?
GoldenEye. Now that was the one that surprised me was GoldenEye.
Yeah, because that took the most work.
Yeah,
Banjo Kazooie, obviously, and then what else?
And the funny thing about it, they put it out on both of them at the same time. They put it on Xbox and on.
Yep.
And it's over at the same time. Like, no, y'all ain't getting mad at us.
So I'm wondering which. So we're missing. We're missing
Castlevania 64. That's what we're missing.
Conquer. Yeah.
Yeah. It pretty much Conquer at this point, and then GameCube stuff.
Yeah.
And Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah. What's the issue? There shouldn't be an issue with Diddy Kong though, right? Because that's
you still have Conquer and Banjo.
Oh yeah, Conquer is in that game.
Conquer, Banjo, and Timber, because Timber was a Conquer character. So, which they completely fucking forgot about.
Yeah, that's all. Hell, I forgot about him. I forgot about until you said so.
He got created and forgotten. He just got left.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking like DK64. Am I tripping or is it missing? Is DK64 on here?
I don't think it is.
No, it was on Wii U, but it wasn't on there.
Yeah.
So it's not on DK64 isn't on here either. So that needs to come as well. So that's another one. And I don't know if that's a licensing thing again, because they got to pay the lads from Rare for whatever music or whatever they did in that game.
Yeah. Because they did their own stuff, right? They did their own music and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was their own little in-house team or whatever. And I guess they ended up becoming a band or something like that after they left Rare. But and that's what I'm trying to think of, because it's just strange that the choices that they made and the stuff they decided to leave out. If you went all the way through to make this deal for, of all things, getting Banjo Tooie on N64 on here.
Yeah, they should have had a package deal with all that. Like that should have been like, okay, we're gonna do these one at a time. Nah, that should have been a package deal.
And I get why you wouldn't want to release it around Donkey Kong Bonanza, but N64 has been on Switch for a while. You could have put out DK64 before Bonanza was a thing.
Or you could have waited till after. It's been months since DK Bonanza's been out. Like
they could have given it like a 3-month birth and then dropped that.
Yeah. Dark Void, you're absolutely right. Gauntlet Legends need to be on there too. I love that the N64 version of Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah, Gauntlet Legends.
That's thinking of Gauntlet Legends. I'm thinking about another game I would love to be on NSL right now is Hunter the Reckoning.
Yeah, Hunter the Reckoning. But see,
Dark Legacy was on GameCube.
We didn't get the best version of Hunter. Like Xbox got the best version of Hunter, the Redeemer. Like we got the lame version. We got the base version.
Yeah,
it was the first game in the series.
Yeah, no, but it was the base because like even PS2 got a second one with the Wayward with the other girl.
Because they split it. They split the games up across the consoles, which is
weird, but whatever. But yeah, Gauntlet Legends, I would look, especially since they always repurpose everything for online anyway. Once it hits NSO, like, bruh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Gauntlet Legends is perfect for that. Because I
really don't understand holding something off if it's a single player game too. Because I
don't either.
There's no reason for that at all. To be honest with you.
it got to be something with either licensing or like as far as stuff that ain't under their complete control. The games that should be under their complete control, like I said, they keep re-upping the trademark for Eternal Darkness. So I'm like, what are we doing?
It should be there.
Yeah, just put it on. Like I would have thought they would have put it on there last Halloween. I'm like, it would have been perfect for it. Because what was the Halloween movie that came, the scary movie that came out Halloween last year? It was a paranormal one. So I'm like, hey, y'all could have just like threw that on there with the quickness. RE4, like I said, since they haven't said they're doing a non-cloud version of 2, 3, and 4 for us, thank goodness they did 7 in Village. I mean, that was nice of them. But 2, 3, and 4, they still cloud version. So I'm like,
it was just ridiculous that they haven't. Like,
yeah. So I'm like, if you're gonna do that, then at least put the original GameCube version on there on the NSO. Like, why not?
Actually, I would like them to put Resident Evil 2 on NSO
64?
For 64, because
so I can get my infinite shotgun. Oh, I had
that one. That one also had the. Yeah, everybody used that cheat. that one had the EX files in it, and it's the only Resident Evil game.
Yeah,
it's the only version of Resident Evil 2 that had those files connecting the events to Resident Evil 0 and 3 and Code Veronica.
Yep.
So it's like you're losing the stuff that the game was made out of because you won't put it out for people to be able to get.
Yeah, which is I didn't understand that either, but yeah, the N64 version of RE2 would be fire, especially if they let us keep all the cheats. Because like I said, that infinite shotgun when that alligator, alligator.
I mean,
I dare you, cuz
the cheats. I mean, the cheats should still work because then you had the battle mode cheats where you could play with tofu.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which
and you had the infinite health cheat.
Yeah, the tofu character. You're like, bro, that is the
big block of tofu.
Yeah, I'm like, really, bro? Y'all just gonna okay, all right, Shinji Mikami. I see what you're talking about, man.
Now, if they really want to have a deep cut, give us the N64 version of Resident Evil 0 that never got released.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be a huge deep cut.
Oh, Metal Mint, you are right. WrestleMania 2000 on N64.
That's going to be WWE licensing. They're not going to let that go. That's the problem with that.
For real?
Yeah, WWE is petty, especially now that TKO owns them. They are.
Oh yeah,
petty.
that ain't happening.
They want everybody to buy the WWE 2K games now. Let the WCW and WWF games drop for 64 NSO. Nobody gonna want to buy them games.
But the thing is, if you're dropping the original, it shouldn't matter, right?
It shouldn't, but that's not how they operate.
Look, I was at a retro store last week. I'm not paying $250 for for WrestleMania 2000. I'm just not.
No, I'm not paying that much for WrestleMania 2000 or No Mercy.
Yeah, but and the WrestleMania 2000 was out of the box, and they was charging that much. The NWO, the WCW versus NWO game, that one was in the box with the manual. So that one I was like, I understand that because that's like it was shrink wrapped and everything. So I can understand that. But WrestleMania 2000, all they had was the manual and the game. It didn't have a box, and they were charging $250 for it. I'm like, y'all lost your mind. Y'all lost your mind. So I can understand that, but yeah, I think like the problem that I have with like the NSO is basically just the drip feed, and it would be nice if they had, because I don't even think they have a schedule. They just like, hey, can we do it? We can't. Okay, cool.
I mean, they probably got some stuff that they're working on, and they figuring out whichever ones come up first. But yeah, they probably don't have like a schedule where what's actually going to be there.
Well, my thing is like with your stuff, you should have a schedule. Where everybody else, I can understand that because you got to do negotiation and all that. I can understand that. Like as much as I love Beautiful Joe, and I would love for 1 and 2 to come to GameCube NSO, I understand Capcom bust out in hives and start sweating, and when you ask them for stuff. And I understand that, but
we're thinking about the fact that we got Perfect Dark for N64, but we didn't get the Perfect Dark Game Boy Color game. which is weird because you got Alone in the Dark, the new
Yeah.
Nightmare Game Boy Color game.
That
So
is
it's
true. Was the
Like,
Perfect
y'all
Dark
didn't
Game
get-
Boy Color game any good? Because I never played it.
I never got to play it, so I don't know.
Yeah. I know it was kind of like a companion piece. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
it was.
it
Like,
wasn't
'cause
like
it allowed you to unlock some cheats sooner if you like did stuff in the Game Boy Color game,
Mhm,
and you connected it through the expansion, not the expansion pack, the transfer pack. It
mhm.
lets you unlock some cheats ahead
Oh,
if you had already done stuff in the Game Boy Color game, and apparently some of it was easier to do on that than it was to achieve in the main game. So I mean, that would have been nice.
yeah, it would have been nice of them. So, oh well. That because both of them are better than freaking Zero.
Yeah, nobody should want Zero, but
I wonder if like Microsoft, hey, we'll put Zero in there if y'all take it too. No,
Nope.
like no. What do you mean no?
Like that wasn't on our console. That was yours.
That's yours. Y'all sure it wasn't on your console? Y'all sure it wasn't? You sure? Like, I mean, yeah, you sure it wasn't on there? I could have swore it was on the GameCube. No, it wasn't. That would have been hilarious if they would have did that.
But-
Okay, so since it's a more of a lax podcast episode, your go-to comfort game, retro and modern. Let's still retro first.
Retro comfort game.
Yep.
That's usually going to be. It's going to be a Ocarina of Time for me most of the time. It's either Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask usually.
See, mine is
if I'm going back.
Mine is usually. This is gonna be funny. Mine is usually Ocarina of Time or Gauntlet Legends. Now we're talking like there. I will say this though. Like the very first Shenmue on Dreamcast, that was fire for me. Because that was the first time you kind of got an open world ish style game where you actually had to do stuff and be on time and all of that. Because if you don't, you will actually miss moves and miss important stuff, and you
missed events.
Yeah, you either had to start over or you had to go back to your last save and be like, "Nah, I got to redo this because I need this because I'm losing to this guy, so I need this move to learn."
Like that little crazy dude with the claw. I hated fighting him.
Oh,
I hated fighting him.
Yeah. I liked it that like in the anime they did make him like they made him because like in the game he just didn't seem tough, especially once you learned capoeira and the judo move. After that, I'm like, bro, man, you ain't nothing. But
now, if you didn't have that judo move, he was a pain in the behind.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And it was easy to miss the judo move because it's like, bro, you walk by the dude every time you go to you walk straight.
It's not like he do anything to draw your attention whatsoever. You just gotta be curious enough to go.
Yeah. It was him and the guy and the old man in the park with the pit blow move.
I was like, so I have to be curious enough to find this person to get this. Like they don't do anything that lets me know that they're there. I just gotta find them.
You literally walk right past them. So that was one thing that I did like and enjoy about the first Shenmue. I did hear about Shenmue 3 coming to Switch 2, PS5, and Xbox Series, but I did read an article where Sega said the game is completely patched and all that stuff, so it's gonna be the definitive version of the game. Because when the game first released, I remember hearing the horror stories about Shenmue 3. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all put this game out and nobody quality tested it? Nobody did. They just put it out.
Yeah.
So
I was sitting here thinking, I was like, damn, don't I have those on my Steam account? I really do, and I have not played them.
But I played 1 and 2.
I didn't finish 2. I loved 1.
I finished 1, but I never finished 2.
Dreamcast has some. That's why I kind of wish Sega would like do a Dreamcast NSO. They did Genesis, but I don't think they're gonna do it.
Sega needs to go gung ho on this with Nintendo. They need to drop Master System. They need to go ahead and drop Game
release
Gear.
Release a Dreamcast controller.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
NSO.
You could do Master System. You could drop Game Gear, and Game Gear would basically use the Master System controller if you drop that.
Yeah.
Then you drop 32X, which would use the Genesis controller. Then you
I
drop
already got my Genesis control, so I'm
then you
good.
drop Dreamcast because we all know Sega Saturn is in and of itself harder to emulate.
Yeah.
And for the
So,
love of
yeah.
God, either introduce a Saturn controller or a 6-button Genesis controller for NSO.
They really
Like,
do need to do a
we need
it.
controller.
But I would love to me because I think Dreamcast is one of those consoles that if Sega just would have been better at planning, that console would have been because that console had games on it that was better than the PS2, and people
there
don't
are
want to
games that
admit
are on. There are games that are on Dreamcast that still haven't gone anywhere else.
The crazy thing is, like, Dreamcast was just like GameCube. It launched okay, actually.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
It actually did pretty good. And people were talking about it. It was they were selling well. So it's just like after like a year or so, it kind of trailed off, and piracy happened.
Everybody could pirate it.
Yeah,
everybody.
It was that, and Sega was selling it at a loss for like I think they were losing like $130 on each one sold.
Yeah, each one. Yeah.
So it was like, what was the point? What was the point of killing your last console to put this out and did not make no money off of it?
Well, the problem that was because they killed the last console, and people like, well, I'm especially if you got parents like, I'm not going to buy you that. I just bought you that 32X right there. You ain't getting that.
And Saturn was not cheap either. Especially
no, Saturn was like $400.
Yeah, so they cut the price of Dreamcast, hoping people to go buy it, but people like, no, I already bought you that about a year and a half ago. I'm not buying you another. And that's what happened.
And it didn't help that Sega's actions with dropping Saturn at E3 1995 didn't do anything for their retail partners.
Exactly.
It's like you pissed off all your retail partners. You had people actively telling people to not buy the Saturn if they stocked it. They told people to not buy it.
Yeah,
they could have. I mean, and Dreamcast was on its way to doing the right things because it was going back to they started with their own arcade board, and they're like, well, the first thing we're going to do is make sure everything you're going to have arcade parity with every release. Like, if anything, it was going to be better than the arcade. Like, in basically, Soul Calibur was a superior version to the arcade in every way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So
that's because everybody was using Sega's arcade board to make their games.
Yep. So the Naomi arcade board, that was probably the best decision that Sega made at the time.
Yep.
So I don't know. They did it. They even built one for Nintendo. So I'm like,
Triforce.
Yeah, that should have taken off. That should have taken off as well. I didn't see too much of it. Obviously, Nintendo don't waste nothing, so they're still making arcade
that's
games
another
with that
thing.
board.
Yeah,
that's another thing. I want to see. I want them to do the Triforce NSO because that's the other half of the GameCube, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you can have your F-Zero AX or whatever unlocked, and you can do your Mario Kart GPs.
Put them games online, man.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'll be fun because I mean they were meant for online or link play anyway. So
wasn't Daytona USA on one of those boards?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was on
the bike one, not the
last
car
one.
It
that
was
was
the
made.
bike one. If I'm not mistaken, that was the bike one.
Oh yeah, not the motocross one, but the
it was cruising. It was
the motocross. It was Moto something. I forgot what it was. And then Cruising obviously was on. That was the Raw Thrills one.
But that's my thing. Like all of the stuff that's in arcades, like that people don't really have access to, or that are in like now specialized arcades that people gotta go to. You can put most of that stuff on consoles now, and the consoles can handle them no problem.
Yep.
So it's like, and they're especially like with games that were like Daytona USA or Rush or anything that had multi unit play. Just make them online.
I don't know why they won't do it, and even like Cruising, right? I don't remember what the modes were for that, but from what I understand, it didn't have all the modes that the arcade version had, and it didn't even sync to the main thing you wanted to do because you could have a what did I just say? Who made those? Whoever made the arcade, I can't think of the name of Cruising. Whoever made Raw Thrills. If you had a Raw Thrills account, then you could sync up your your high scores, and they would be in a database or whatever. The first thing you would think of is if you bought a Raw Thrills home arcade game, then you could go to that same site and see your stuff on there, and it would sync up with the arcade, and people could see. Nope. like why wouldn't they do that thing? That would just be the most common sense thing to do, but I don't know. They're just like, hey, we made a Switch game and it's gonna make a whole bunch of money, and it did.
Yeah,
so that's all they cared about.
Yeah. I want the Rush series, but I especially want Rush 2049, like because the Dreamcast version has so much stuff to it.
That game's great. Rush 2049 was really good.
That has so much stuff to it. I would love to play that again.
Skies of Arcadia.
I'll go back to Burnout 2. That needs to be on there as well. That needs to be on there. So
yeah.
And online with that too, like crash mode would be insane. I know a lot of video chat will happen with that game for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Dark Void, I have not played Crimson Desert.
I have not played it and have no intention of playing.
Nope.
it.
Yeah. No intention.
I saw some of the trailers. I've been trying to see if I can find some Twitch people I trust to watch and see what it plays like. Because everybody I don't trust, so I just haven't sat down and looked at it. But yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I just wasn't intrigued by it, so it didn't grab me.
It's one of those things where you could feel like the industry is trying to manufacture that game doing well.
Yeah.
And that was just one of the things. I was just like, I looked at it and I just kind of rolled my eyes, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah. I was like, isn't that connected to the Black Desert games?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I thought it was like connected. I thought it was linked to them for some reason. As far as I know, that's why it's called Crimson Desert instead of Black Desert.
I don't know. Don't let me get a line. Let me we can Google for it. Let's see what it says.
Made by the same people. Oh, okay.
I'm wondering.
No, that's what Brand said.
Brand Smith just said it's made by the same people.
Saying it's not a standalone prequel, so I guess it's supposed to be set before Black Desert.
So it's linked to it. Story wise, it's linked to it.
Yeah. So yeah, I
don't know. I just wasn't interested. But then again, I wasn't interested in Black Desert. So that.
And the other thing too is like, dude, like it's releasing around a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, bro, I already bought some stuff, man. I ain't balling. I'm on a budget.
Yeah. I guess that's the other thing too. Like, we already don't like y'all trying to make these live service games, and then you try to make an unofficial prequel to an MMO that already gives you the vibe that you're trying to do another live service type game. So I can see how that can be looked at bad. I saw the reveal for it. I'm like, yeah, this don't interest me at all.
Yeah.
So it was just, but look at the okay, cool.
I was like, yeah, cool graphics, but that's about it.
Yeah, now I'm like, at this
somebody took photos and applied them to textures. Cool.
At some point, you gotta get over these graphics, man.
I don't know, man. At this point, I feel like if you still have to use photos for your textures, is the graphics engine really that advanced or that sophisticated? Because you shouldn't have to use photos as textures at that point. Whatever textures that you have, they'll look realistic because the lighting engine made it realistic, and you have enough polygons for your model, so all the shadows and stuff are realistic based on the model you made. Or you know what I mean? It shouldn't be to the point where you need those anymore. At this point, we've gotten to the point where you can do all these tessellated meshes now with millions of polygons per model. So why are we still going on nature hunts and taking pictures?
Yeah,
you shouldn't have to do that anymore. You can make a flat shaded model, and the rest of the lighting engine will make it look realistic. If that's what we're doing, I just feel like that's what should happen at this point. We don't need flat photos anymore. But you know, that's kind of how I feel about it. But you know, other people, oh well, the game it brings it makes the experience more realistic. I'm like, man, I no.
Like, no, I really don't care. Like,
Also, I want the
really
game
don't
to be
care.
fun. I don't care about realism per se. Like, if it looks impressive, cool. And I feel like stuff like that needs to add to the atmosphere of the game too. Like, the first time I saw the GameCube try to draw a whole bunch of polygons at one time with volumetric fog and a whole bunch of stuff, it made more sense to me when it happened in a game that was more confined, and then it finally opened up, and that was in Eternal Darkness. So like later on when it started, I'm like, hey, well, so this game is doing all this. It's more impressive then, instead of, you know, you trying to wow me and then, oh well, maybe the game is fun, but look at all the stuff it's doing. So maybe if the game's already fun and I'm already interested, later on it's just a cherry on top. But I'm not going to look at something like I need to play that just because of how it looks. I thought we were beyond that in the 6th generation, but
well, we should have been. But
here we go, 4 generations later.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever learn, I guess.
Yeah, Aries, I saw that. I just started laughing because I'm like, that it's not an apples to apples comparison. And the people that are saying that, half of them, if you ask them, they never played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm like, why are you comparing it?
Yeah,
I don't get being mad. I don't get being upset that one game is successful because the game you like isn't.
Yeah, you don't have to tear something down to build something else up. Just if you like it, just build that up. You ain't got to tear something else down to do it.
Like
I will never understand that.
People don't get that when you do that, it turns people off of things, especially if it's somebody who's more neutral. They're going to be turned off by that attitude. They'll be like, well, I don't want to engage with this because I don't want to engage with that fan base.
I'll never understand the way that they're trying to say, like, well, there was Nintendo bias with Breath of the Wild. I like, do you know how much of the industry had to like bite their tongue while playing this game and admitting how good it was and what it excelled at doing? No other game was doing what Breath of the Wild was doing at the time. They had no choice but to give it high scores.
The other thing too is like, dude, you have developers that tell you if they're being honest, they will straight up tell you, they're like, dude, we still can't figure out how they did some of the stuff for Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom just upped it.
Nintendo, and if you listen to what they said, they spent 6 years. Because they restarted development on after Skyward Sword. They restarted development on Zelda after Skyward Sword, and they said, well, we're just gonna make Zelda 1 and we're gonna play around with Havoc. And nobody else was doing that with Havoc at the time. So they're like, we're gonna make this complex and make everything work to where it all stacks on top of each other. And I don't know. Nobody else is doing that. People try to say, "Oh, well, they stole things from Assassin's Creed," and I'm like,
"They said Banjo."
And I'm like,
"No, they didn't."
I'm like, Assassin's Creed ended up playing just like Breath of the Wild after Breath of the Wild came out. I think that should tell you a lot about how much influence that game has. After that, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey was not like the other Assassin's Creed once Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah, and then you got Tears of the Kingdom. Like, people still trying to break that game, and they haven't been able to break it yet. They're still trying to break it.
What did
Cat made Godzilla in the doggone game, and I thought that was a joke. Like, dude literally made the Godzilla. Dude made a TIE fighter. I need to get that design. He made a TIE fighter.
He just retweeted it like an F-22, like just straight up.
Yeah, I caught that. I caught that. I caught that the moment I saw it. Look,
like complete.
I was like, I got Zelda notes. Scan it right in.
Scan that more right in, dude. That's all I've been doing. I'm like, bro, what in the world? Because I got the tank, and I got a laser Gatling gun. Dude made a laser Gatling gun. I'm like, yes, I need this.
White man's out here taking out the biggest, and I mean the biggest enemies in the game with one shot. I'm like,
and how was the game not breaking? Also, just with all those items cobbled together to make.
Because dude, the video I saw where dude made the TIE fighter, he took on King Gliop with it in the air.
There's like 200 independently moving parts. Like, how I don't even want to know how much testing went into this, but Obviously, years worth, probably half a decade, I would imagine. But
at this point, I'm gonna have to go to one of those sites and just scan all the QR codes and just upload.
Yeah, just pick which one you want. Yeah,
and then you wonder why they just said we'll just do Tears of the Kingdom right after that. Like, come on, like you got a good engine here. Why wouldn't you not, expand upon it or whatever?
The people tend to forget, and I hate that Al Newman said that back in 2019 when he was like, "Yeah, we started out as an expansion, but we were playing around and we like what we were doing. We just decided to make it a whole game because people then ran with they only saw the part where it was supposed to be an expansion. DLC. Yeah, like no, if you read the rest of the article, you would have saw what he said. We made it a whole game after we started playing around more and more with the map and the ideas.
Yep.
I'm like, bruh.
Basically, basically the idea was that they started with a DLC, but it got too big.
Yeah.
Yep.
The depths alone.
Yeah. That's a whole other map.
I actually got to finish that myself.
Yeah, I still ain't finished that. I keep running that Coliseum with that gauntlet where you gotta fight them armored Lionels. I need to get me I need to build me another tank.
Yeah, the Coliseum.
I'm straight cheating.
I hacked the Coliseum. No, I had tools. I hacked the Coliseum.
Ain't no way in the world. Like I've seen people go in there now and do it 3 years after the game came out. They go in there now and do it because they don't update they armor to like 80. But if you go in there when you playing the game like you're supposed to, and you ain't got no help like a tank or a Gatling gun, bro, you're not going through that. You ain't making it through that gauntlet. You're not. You
gotta be real good at trolling Lionels. Like, I mean, like,
because that last armor one is a pain in the behind.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely gotta be able to take the armor off. You gotta be able to counter in time. You gotta be able to parry in time. You gotta be able to dodge in time. All that stuff. Everything has to be perfect, or that entire run is done.
Basically,
so, I had fun doing it, but I did all that and still didn't beat the game.
It's why I have a tank now, because I have a tank just for that situation. Oh, you think you're gonna rush me? Nah, eat missile, eat fire, eat laser, eat everything. That armor's coming off one way or another.
Yeah, it's just insane how many tools you can just develop for that game. I really don't I guess I just don't get that. Yeah, there is, like, we've seen the bias against Nintendo for decades now amongst all of us, right? Obviously there's bias for Nintendo too. Like, there's a couple outlets out there, they're gonna really like be excited when Nintendo does something. That's usually the exception and not the rule. But when everybody that's normally super critical about Nintendo has to bend the knee, like, you just gotta acknowledge that. Like, if anybody that would, when you got some of the most harshest commentators come and say, oh, well, the Nintendo is doing this with this game, doing this with this game, and they hated every Zelda game before it, has some excuse. And then when it comes to this one, they're just like, yeah, this should be game of the year. It should. Like, there's nothing, we haven't seen anything like this before. What is this? When everybody's saying that, like, and then you experience it yourself. How do you find a way to downplay it? Like, how? Like, there's nothing, literally nothing that plays anything like that at the time, for sure. Obviously, they're copycats now, but there was nothing like that. So, yeah, anybody that would have said anything otherwise during the time, they were clearly just trying to rage bait and try to get some type of negative reaction just because. And funnily enough, one of the people that I saw doing that went on to speak all of the good things about Anthem. Really, really odd. It's just funny. I should expect that, though. I should expect that type of irony. But I don't know. It's just, that's just how it is.
Anthem, boy, that game. Shit.
Yeah. And when I saw it, though, I was like, ooh, so they're just gonna make a more realistic Xenoblade. Cool. I'll try it. And before I even got a chance to, they were already talking about it being killed. So
then that game went from like full price to like $15 within like 6 months.
Yep.
I'm like, bro,
that hurt me more than Forspoken actually, because Forspoken I was really looking forward to, and amongst other things, we can talk about protagonists and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
I definitely wanted to. I was looking forward to that game, and then I saw how it was being treated, and I was like, oh.
I thought that was another game that should have went multi-plat, should not have been exclusive, just because I'm like, that fan base ain't gonna support that. And then on top of that, y'all already had issues with the Luminous engine. You know it don't work right, so you probably want to put that in front of many eyes as you can. Yeah, that one, and I've just read about this, but Stellar Blades sequel ain't gonna be exclusive.
Yeah, they've already said.
I guess they thought they was gonna make.
And so they're gonna make a Switch version, and then the sequel is just gonna be multi-platform, which basically means there'll be a Switch 2 version. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, but once again, that was supposed to be in the Bayonetta killer. I'm like, that did not kill Bayonetta. That did not kill Bayonetta. Nope. I hate when people like, this is gonna be such and such kill. I'm like, it's not gonna do it, man.
No, it's a really good game though, but it's. Yeah.
But I
don't even know how to explain it because it's not Bayonetta.
Yeah, but you don't need to. But that's what I'm saying. You explain it on its own merit. You don't compare it to something else. That's like comparing Bayonetta to Devil May Cry. Don't do that. Yeah. Devil May Cry is its own thing. Like, So, yeah. Oh, yeah, that is right. Kingdom Bridge of Spirits comes out, which I thought was never going to come. But
I got to support. I got to support for the same reason.
I don't think the Sony fan base understands, like, dude, y'all haven't been buying these games. That's why they're doing this.
Yep.
So you getting mad mean nothing. You should have supported it.
Yep. So that's a double dip for me. That and
that one is South of Midnight.
Yep. And I had to support for Spoken to for the same reason. So like
and I never got a chance to play Kino, so I'm actually looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's
because I heard it's actually pretty good.
It's good. It's good.
And since 2 is coming out, and I know that's going to come everywhere, I'm probably going to wind up picking that one up too. So, yeah. I mean, we got a lot of good stuff to look forward to. I just don't I don't understand the constant need to like bash something to make something else look good. I don't understand that. That's just stupid to me. But
and I guess my thing is like, I don't see the point of doing it to make one system shine versus the other. There's inherent benefits and I guess you could say negative aspects to all of these platforms. Really, like if you're happy with the game that you're playing, just be happy with the game that you're playing. You don't have to go and say this game is trash because this one is good. I don't really understand that part either. So, like, I'm not going to say every MMO is trash because I like Star Trek Online or I like the Star Wars The Old Republic. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna bash, EverQuest or whatever because Final Fantasy 14 or whatever is good. There's no need to do that. And you can say a game is bad though.
Yeah.
If it's bad, it's bad, but you don't say it to say a system is bad because there's good games on every platform.
Or don't stop begging for the game to come everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that begging stuff is really
it's in a jail on this platform, so it needs to now if it's really just lost the time kind of situation, sure. But if it's a current platform, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And the other thing, because one I hated was they need to get it off the Wii U and give it to the people that want to play it. I'm like, you should have bought it on the damn Wii U, bro.
It was given to the Wii U because people on other consoles weren't going to get it at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, I noticed that the people that complained about Xenoblade Chronicles X didn't buy it the other 2 times that it was released. So it wasn't about the things they said it was about.
Yeah.
So, I got it. I got it on Wii U and on Switch.
I'm trying not to triple dip. I'm trying not to quadruple dip because I already got the $5 upgrade. I'm trying not to get the full card. I'm trying. I'm being so much trouble. Because I don't know how many. Yeah, so I bought that game. So I have 2 copies of the collector's edition on Wii U. I have the special edition on. Well, I mean, it obviously a special edition on Switch, definitive edition, and then I'm trying not to get the Switch 2 version. I'm trying
not to buy the rebuy the physical version of it.
Yeah, and the only special edition I don't have is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I think that's still like $400 on StockX right now.
Nah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to let it go. People are talking about sell it. If you talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X, nothing Xenoblade X related is leaving my hands. Like
I don't know if I'd be paying the whole console worth for one game.
Nah.
For the game by itself, I mean.
Bro, man, torn to Golden Country.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Because what I didn't want to do was pay $200 for that. Thank God.
Yeah. Torn to Golden Country. I'm like, bro. And I was telling people, I'm like, hey, man, if y'all want the physical, y'all better hurry up and get it because they said they only printed this many and they ain't printing no more. And they didn't. I think they only printed like, what was it, like 25,000 copies or something like that? And once they was gone, Cats was like immediately $1,500. Like, are you serious?
Let's say we gonna pillage this market.
Yeah, we're gonna pillage the fuck out of this mug. So yeah, I'm like, and then they looked around and sold some more. And I think that's the time I hit you up because they were selling them from Nintendo, so you had to go to the website and get it for like $39. Because if you didn't, you try to go to Amazon. Nah, bro. Come off that money.
Yep.
I miss when I gave mine to my niece.
I'm just trying to figure out how. Well, I already got to figure out how I'm gonna. I really don't want to open this Switch, but it's time to replace the battery. But it's got a lot of stuff on it, and I need to get stuff off of it before I do this, just in case. Yeah. I don't want to corrupt the NAND by doing something weird, and that would make me really upset because there's a lot of stuff on there. But
be careful.
Yeah, I gotta be careful because if I send it to Nintendo, they're gonna send back a different serial number, and I don't want to do that. So I'd rather just get a new battery. So I'm gonna do that and do some surgery at some point. But yeah, man, I feel like gaming today. I feel like this is just a retread of 6th generation again. It's all the same tropes all over again. Yeah. Resolution has become the new polygons per second. And it's just really odd. Frames per second too, which is really strange because like it didn't matter. Like a lot of games were 60 frames per second during the 6th generation because everything was in 480p. So it was a lot easier to do. The games were built for that resolution, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And nobody really talked about it then. But now all of a sudden we care about frame rates, and I'm like, have you played a 360?
Well, you have to, and that's your whole selling point.
We talking about N64 frame rates playing on 360, depending on what game you playing.
But that's what they had to do. They had if you're getting beat, if your competition is beating you because they got superior gameplay, you got to find something that can offset that. So you have to talk about your graphics. You have to talk about your target FPS, even though most people don't even understand it. You got to talk about, basically, Jazz, you're right, the buzzwords. You got to hit them with every buzzword on earth.
So I'll say this. This did not make Resident Evil 9 less fun in any way, shape, or form.
Nope, it didn't.
Still had a blast with it. Still Game of the Year nominee for me, for sure. And I supposedly played the worst version of it, unless you're talking about Steam Deck, but that's a whole nother camera.
Look, I've been sitting here debating myself if I wanted to get it on PC or on the Switch too.
I mean, whichever one you feel. At this point, I don't. It's at this point you're really just pulling hairs. Really, it's not even that big of a deal. Like you see, if you play on PS5 or PC or whatever, you get to see like the little the hair strands, and when she moves and stuff, there's lighting, like the light goes
here's
through her
the-
hair.
I ain't
while
worried
she's
about that.
running. Yeah,
Here's
like
the problem. Like when
that's the
people
difference. That's the difference, though.
Well, when people brought that up, I'm like, did y'all not play Monster Hunter? Because every time Capcom drops one that's in the RE engine, the first thing they wind up having to patch and update is what? The
Yeah.
hair. Because the hair is always messed up. Always. Did you play the Pragmata demo?
Same thing.
That little baby, somebody need to take that little baby to the stylist and get that baby hair done. Because shouldn't let that child come in the house looking like that. They should be embarrassed with themselves. Then that baby come out there looking like that, as the elders would say. But yeah, I'm like, it's always the hair. Like that's the first thing that they wind up having to update or patch is the hair. They did it for Monster Hunter Rise. They did it for Monster Hunter Wilds. They did it for with the Exo Primal. They did anything that they have a creative character in there. Their hair is always jacked up first.
Yep.
And then they'll patch it later. So that's why I was like, y'all talking about the hair. Have y'all never played anything in the RE engine? Come on, man. Like hell, Street Fighter. That's another one. Street Fighter 6. That hair was jacked up.
It was real bad on Switch before the first patch. It was bad. Oh god.
It was bad on PlayStation and Xbox. It was bad.
It was bad on PC.
Yeah. So I'm like, but people don't bring that up, and that's a problem with me because I'm like, if you're gonna bring it up for everybody. Don't just single out one that you think don't deserve nothing. Don't single that one out. Bring it out on everybody because that's what it is. And then they'll go back 2 weeks to a month later, patch it. It'll be a silent patch, and nobody because they don't bring that up, and all of a sudden, hey,
everything's fixed.
Yeah. So. Yeah, whatever.
But Jay, it has less NPCs in it, and I'm like,
I don't care about NPCs.
There's what does NPC stand for? It's a non-player character. I'm not fazed by that. It doesn't affect me playing, so why do I care? Why do I care? Especially like you don't even interact with them. They're in the background watching you fight.
Yeah.
What? What?
So what was
I don't care about that. Like if you're talking about a zombie game, yeah, sure. Like I want more zombies to run at me kind of situation that I'm fighting at one time or something, but you don't have time to fight them all at once. That's why it doesn't feel any different in Resident Evil 9, no matter what version of the game you have.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I don't.
Do you want my answer to that?
Darkwood, I honestly don't. I hardly ever play in handheld mode, to be honest. So it meant nothing to me.
It doesn't mean much to me, but I wish that people would stop acting like they know how these things work, especially when they don't do a little bit of research, just a little bit, that would teach them that when they say they are engineers, which they aren't, that the work that makes the boost mode, the stuff that makes the boost mode work was done at the kernel level, not on the emulator, because it tricks the console into thinking your attached Joy-Cons are a Pro controller. It disables the functionality of the touch screen, and it boosts the internal clocks so that there's more power being used because it's basically running home mode during handheld.
Yep.
But if you tell people this, they, for some reason, want to pretend that once they throw out the word engineer, that you're just going to sit there and capitulate. Oh, you're right. No, I'm not. I'm going to make you look like a dumbass.
Yep.
So please never do that to me because I will make you look stupid.
Yeah, it's just odd that people do those things. People try those conversations with me. They usually don't end up going well for people. I don't know. There's just countless videos on YouTube of me doing that to people, but I don't want to. I just feel like if just say you don't know what you're talking about, or you feel that this is a thing or whatever, that's fine, well and good. I'm not going to argue about your opinion. I will say facts are facts, and they're going to disagree with your opinion though. But yeah, it's obvious that that's at the system level, and because there's no. First of all, it doesn't make sense project wise either, because why would you waste your time tailoring out all those changes for an individual emulation layer when you could just do it at the firmware layer? Why would you? You could just flip a switch and then everything changes.
Which would be
it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And we got to get people to stop thinking that these types of things happen within a year, because that type of project takes anywhere from 15 to like 24, maybe even 36 months to get together. That's a large engineering team thing.
Yeah.
That is not something that can be done within a few months.
Think about all the one-by-one changes and patches that have to happen to fix after this too, because certain games relied on certain timings that are broken once this is enabled. So they have to go back and patch those games to make sure they work. So there was still a lot of research done before they deployed this to make sure the majority of the games that don't need a patch are the way they are. So
yep.
I don't even know why people think that. They think that because we complained, they magically did this in the 9th hour. And
I was like,
that isn't how that works.
You didn't start complaining until after the console came out, because no one had it in their hands before then. And we were already told ahead of time that they were working on something like this. So what makes you think that you complaining in a vacuum makes them go and say, oh, we've got to rush this out? No. If they did, they'd break everything.
Yeah.
They put it in the Nintendo Direct. They said that there are some games that won't, the compatibility won't work as well, and we have a list of ones that don't work well, and we're working on compatibility. Like they said that in, what was that, March? April? No, April was the reveal, right?
April was the reveal.
Yeah, so in April they said that. Yeah. And what do you think? You thought they were lying? They weren't going to do it? Like,
obviously, y'all don't understand it. This just means we're getting the Switch 2 Pro.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anybody?
We might get Switch 2 OLED.
Switch 2 Pro. Anybody Switch 2 Pro? Anybody?
So there will be a die shrink once Samsung has a 5N. So there'll be a die shrink for that. I see. Obviously, that's coming. But what is Nintendo going to do? Use that for battery life. They'll probably do a Switch 2 Lite, or something to that effect, or Switch 2 model, whatever kind of thing with the better battery life. And if there becomes a Pro, if a Pro happens,
that's crazy. Because
I don't see that. There's no need. Nintendo's not. That's not where Nintendo is.
No, but all right, peeps. That's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you everybody for coming through and hanging out with us. We really do appreciate everybody in the chat. So Shadow, anything you want to pimp out?
Channel ain't dead. For the people that joined my chat, I guess y'all will see what's going on this week. And it should have happened this weekend, but other things like life and stuff happened. So stay following everybody here. I should be doing the Shadowcast soon. We'll talk about that after the fact. We'll figure out how we get the availability together and stuff like that. Yeah. I will be on the Nintendo 10 Byte podcast probably coming up in another couple of weeks. So just pay attention to my channel then, and then I'll invite you guys to that one. We can chat and have a good time. Might do a pre-show, and then go from there. So other than that, no, my regular line. Do you play games to have fun and to impress other people?
All right. I don't really have anything to pimp out this week. So I'm probably gonna still be trying to work on some stuff. I'm thinking about bringing some old stuff back. So I'm gonna be working on mapping that stuff out tomorrow. But other than that, I don't really have much. I'm gonna try to live stream on Saturday. Just don't know what. So we shall see. Other than that, I don't know where Andre is, so we'll just have to let him do it next time. But we'll catch you guys later. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Later, y'all.